Right, well, we've got one more act and we're going to have a little break. This is sort of Mark's established slot, actually. I think he has played here 3 times, and every time he's been on before the break. So please welcome Mark Speeding.
Thank you. Whoa. Yeah, I think that's just about the right height for short arse like me. Okay. I never wanted to be a short arse, but you know, you're stuck with it. I actually should have been born in Malta, but the stork, I think, had an accident on the way across, you know, down to the Med, and dropped me here. Well, actually not here, in Concert of all bloody places. And as Steve says, Concert's not exactly renowned for its poetry. It's not exactly renowned for much apart from getting pissed. They're going to open a heritage centre in Concert to commemorate the steelworks. I mean, only 32 fucking years too late, like. Cheers, man. I'm not going to do much swearing tonight. That's it. That's all the swearing done. The video camera work?
Yep.
Yeah, great.
Well, it's
right.
got a picture when it's recorded.
Oops. Oh, never mind. This first one is the title track of my new album. I always say this because I used to like a live album by Cheap Trick when about 1980, and they used to always say, "This is the first song off our new album." Yeah. So I thought, well, you've got to try that every time you get up to perform. This one's called Into the Vortex. It's into the abyss, into the darkest void, into the rancid mist. Into the vortex, into the matrix, into the blackest hole, into the deepest tryst. Into the vortex, into the chamber, into the vicious crypt, into the pit of danger. Into the vortex, into the endless tunnel, into the boiling fog, into the cosmic funnel. Into the vortex, into the vortex, into the vortex, or the Maya. Into the vortex, into the vortex, into the vortex, or the Paya. Into the citadel, onto the citadel, into the city, or the fire. Into the vortex, into the vortex, into the vortex, or the fire. Into the vortex, into the vortex, into the vortex, or the fire. Into the vortex, into the vortex, into the vortex, or the fire. Thank you very much, cheers. This next one is it's dedicated to somebody that's alive and somebody that's dead, but the two improvisers I'm very fond of. One of them's called Derek Bailey, who, depending on your opinion of guitar playing, either played total crap, cacophony, or he was a total genius. I thought he was a total genius. And Evan Parker, who's still alive, I think he's one of the greatest saxophone players that's ever lived. And some people just think he just blows any old crap out of it. And this one's called Derek Bailey's About, so Evan Parker, get your horn out. wit with sound shaping, just like David Hockney does with paint. Forming Incus Records with Tony Oxley and Evan Parker. Enjoying the company of international improvisers, but ultimately preferring his own company. Derek Bailey's about, so Evan Parker, get your horn out. Derek Bailey's about, so Evan Parker, get your horn out. More than once, adding cool cacophonous intonations to his samadhi soundscapes before returning to skinning rabbits in his forest of seclusion. Before returning to skinning rabbits in his forest of seclusion. Derek Bailey's about, so Evan Parker, get your horn out. Derek Bailey's about, so Evan Parker, get your horn out. Get your horn out. Evan Parker, get your horn out. Evan Parker, get your horn out. Thank you. Cheers. I think I've had a new album out every year for the past 5 years. Some of them have even sold more than 20 copies. And I think Steve's got them all. No, not all the copies that were sold. A copy of each one. Here's now. This one was off the last album, and the album was called Copious Myriad Plethora. For reasons known only to myself. Basically it means more. Or a lot. This one's called State of Serenity, and it's got a little bit of a political message cryptically hidden beneath all of the words. Serenity will eventually be reached. We will relentlessly seek it out and pin it down. Even though they will always try to conquer us, and even though they will always try to conquer us, and And even though they will always try to conquer us, and even though they will always try to conquer us, we will effortlessly resist having to obey them. We will effortlessly resist having to obey them. We will defiantly resist being subjugated. We will effortlessly resist, defiantly resist, effortlessly resist having to obey them. Because we've reached our state of serenity. Because we've reached our state of serenity. Our state of serenity. Serenity! We've reached our state of serenity. State of serenity. State of serenity. Thank you. This one's called The Man with the Sore Head Reaches for His Hipflask, and it's dedicated to Steve Irwin, who's not an alcoholic. He's unlike the man in the story, and I wish I could be teetotal and just drink tea, but I don't like tea, so I'm not teetotal. Oldest joke in the world, though. End of tether reached, veins throbbing out of his head. The man with the sore head reaches for his hip flask. Anger deflecting reason, frustration deflecting despair. The man with the sore head gulps down for his hip flask. The West is forthcoming, ghosts coming back to haunt him. The man with the sore head tosses his hip flask against the wall. Emerging from his cave, he's finally got things worked out. The man with the sore head repeatedly smashes the hip flask against the side of his head, rendering himself unconscious, but of course he'll keep on repeating the process until he can reach for the hip flask no more. Thank you. Come on. Well, there you go. I don't know. What shall it be, Steve? What do you think I should do next? This other one is dedicated to Steve Irwin's song. There's three poets that I really, really like: Roger McGough, John Cooper Clarke, who's just a comedian now, and Steve Irwin, and it's a good try and vibe it, I think. This one's called Welcome to Dystopia. A balcony on your skin tells them every minute detail. A chip inside your brain informs them of your potential. Intelligence and obedience are conformity are enemies from the start. Welcome to Dystopia. You will not enjoy your stay, there's no way back. Time will cease to exist, your identity will fade away, your identity will fade away. Random extermination will serve as a brutal example. A throw out of your possessions will wipe out your individuality. Wipe out your individuality. Wipe out your individuality. Every independent thought and every treasured precious memory will be stripped from your existence and incinerated in the fire, and incinerated in the fire. Welcome to Dystopia. Welcome to Dystopia. Welcome to Dystopia. Welcome to Dystopia. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers. It's been a lovely audience. Sorry, I'll get off.
Mark Speeding, everybody.